Hi all, and welcome to Unseen Strands, my podcast where I, your host, Mo, am visually impaired and plan on sharing with you strands of my life. This is a crochet and fiber arts related podcast with bits and pieces of the rest of my life woven in. This is our second episode, and in this episode we will follow a much more normal pattern where I will share with you things I have made, things I am working on, some Etsy shop news if I have any, with a little bit of life also towards the end. If you would like to come find me and follow me on social media, I am either under Mo's Crochet or Hooked on Mo's. That is Mo's Crochet, MOESCROCHET. You can find me under that on Pinterest, on Instagram, as well as on Goodreads and Ravelry. You may find me under Hooked on Mo's, which is HOOKEDONMOEZ, on platforms such as Twitter and my Facebook business page. You can also type in either Mo's Crochet or hookedonmos.etsy.com to get to my Etsy shop. And finally, if you would like to follow along with what our kids are doing, you can find them either at moeskids.etsy.com or on Facebook, and that's spelled MOESKIDZ. Now let's get into the crafting content. I'd like to start off with my whips, or my works in progress. First off, I'd like to share with you a project that I am spinning. I am currently spinning a project that is going to be, hopefully, a Christmas present for one of our friends. Since this is a Christmas present, I'm not going to go into great detail, just in case they happen to watch this, but I'm not sure if I will actually be able to finish this project on time, as one of the fibers, the lighter of the two reds, is a lot harder fiber to spin than I was anticipating. But this is made out of two different kinds of red materials. The lighter of the two reds is a sari silk, and because this was kind of uneven and hard to spin, I decided to also incorporate this ruby red merino wool that I had gotten for Sam, but he decided he didn't want to spin. So I'm hoping to ply these together and to make it a more uniformed yarn that I can use for a project. I'm not exactly sure what I will be crocheting yet with it, but I'm hoping to have at least something done before the Christmas season. And by the way, currently all the fibers I have come from paradisefibers.com. I probably should investigate a few other fiber sites a lot more in detail, but this one has a very nice range of fibers, and I think the prices are fairly reasonable, especially for the pre-dyed merino wools. I was a little lucky that Jeremy had decided to stop spinning with me, because even though I appreciated when he would spin with me, I also needed another spindle, as you can see, and now that I have freed up the spindle he was using, which is the darker of the two reds, I am able to spin both of my things, which I spin the one by my computer, and I spin the other one during story time with the boys. And for those that are curious, story time here is not a visual book, but is an audio book. This is actually the only way I have been able to find to reach Jeremy and to get him excited about reading, as he is not a bookworm, although Sam is a bookworm, even though he doesn't sit still very well. We listen to audiobooks through a service that is for the disabled. And if you want to follow along with what we are reading, I do keep a bookshelf on Goodreads that is With the Kids, which is the book I am reading with the bigs, or my two big boys, Jeremy and Sam. As I only have the two spindles, that is currently all I am spinning. On to things that I am currently crocheting. I do need to get some more crochet projects started. I really don't have a whole lot on right now. I have basically just my plarn mats going. I have a Walmart plarn mat, which is about 24 inches done, or 2 feet out of the 6 that I need. And I've kind of procrastinated on this a little bit because the Walmarts have gone away from the light colored bags and have just been doing the dark gray bags. And I kind of would like to keep speckling in the light bags. Although there are certain Walmarts that still do or have had the light ones. So what I would like to do is to get the bags that I have cut up and at least put into a bag, even if I don't join them yet, as I would like to join them once I have a few more of the light bags to speckle in. I also have a target mat going on. This is the smallest of the mats, currently at about 8.5 inches tall, as I seem to not get very many of those in, even though I really like these bags, as they tend to be a little bit stronger and more uniform than some of my other bags. I do have some more of these bags also to cut up, and hopefully I will get those done, and usually when I cut up these bags, I just crochet them right into the mat that I'm working on, since I never have very many to join up. I also would like to get a new pair of crocheted socks going. I currently don't have one going. I've only been crocheting socks since the summer, and I have a pair for myself, a pair for Jeremy, and a pair for Sam, and I have no idea yet how well they will wear or how long they will last, since it really hasn't been sock weather here yet, or at least not for myself, and I have trouble telling the boys to go to school in their socks that I have made for them, as I think that they tend to be a little rougher around school and their friends than they do at home. Earlier, I was looking at Ravelry and found a pattern which was free on the day that I saw the pattern, but is a normally $5 download. And I'm thinking of starting this, if nothing else, as a project to give as a Christmas gift this year. This pattern is by the Firefly hook and is called the Stardust Gypsum. This is supposed to be a cowl that incorporates elements of baby's breath into it. I haven't yet looked at my pattern, but I assume this is done through a stitching pattern and not just a coloration. I also noticed while browsing Ravelry this morning that one of my Iowa groups had a post, even though it was about a month old, that was for a fiber retreat at the end of February. Even though I don't have many, if any, crafting friends that would be able to go with me, I am debating on spending the money to go to this event just so I can get around a few more people that are into things like I am. As I said in my first episode, these kinds of situations are very awkward for me since I can't visually identify people. The bonus to this event is that it is practically in my backyard. It is at a hotel, which is only a few miles from me and is still in the same town that I am living in. Which the biggest bonus to this is that I would not need a hotel, as it would be very easy for me to get a ride over there, even if it is just with my husband. I think at a minimum, I will try to go to the vendor event that is on Friday, as it's only $5 to get in, which means it would be $10 for me and my husband. But I think this would be the easiest way for me to get introduced into this community. Anywho, this is the Sticks and Strings 2018, a fiberlicious yarnival. And now for what I am done hooking. I've only actually finished one crochet project this month, and that is a witch hat that I have made to be one of the twins' Halloween costume. This is for my little Leo, as last month I had made them both fox hats for their birthday, but I had made Zane's at the 12-month size, as he has a square head and a little larger head than Leo, where Leo I made the 9 to 12-month size, which actually fits Zane pretty well right now, so I decided I would make a different hat for Leo to wear for his Halloween costume, so they weren't quite matchy-matchy. Oh boy! So I was editing and realized that I never finished talking about my finished objects. I think this was because Leo had woken up and had distracted me. And now we are competing with the background sounds of the dishwasher, but I would really like to get this finished, so I guess here we go. As for the fox hat pattern, this is a pattern that I had gotten with a free pattern coupon, although it is normally a $5 download. This is the Fox Crochet hat pattern. The designer is Jamie H. I can't say her last name as the screen reader is reading it very terribly, but I'm sure you'll be able to find it if you looked it up on Ravelry. And I think basically I worked this pattern as written. I had used I Love This Yarn instead of Red Heart, but otherwise I even used the correct crochet hooks for it. And since I had to buy orange and black of I Love This Yarn, and I had nearly a full skein of the black left, I decided to do the witch hat for Leo out of the remainder. And for my witch's hat, which again is in I Love This Yarn, it is by Bob Wilson 123, and this is a YouTube tutorial. I went to the link that was mentioned in the comments, but I did not see a downloadable pattern for the witch's hat. I did see some downloadable patterns for the other ones shown, but not for this one. I did not follow this pattern quite as closely. For starters, it said to use, I believe, a J hook, and I used a G hook. As I know, I Love This Yarn is a lot softer of a yarn, and I did want it to hold its shape, and I thought by using the smaller yarn, I would be able to have it have a lot more character than using a larger hook where it would just kind of flop down. There is also a section at the start that I thought would be too long for an infant hat. So whereas it told you to do a round in between of solid half double crochets between each increase round, I just increased each round so it would not be quite as long for the point. Otherwise, I followed it pretty much exactly, although at the end of their pattern, they had gotten an adult size hat, and I got a hat that would fit a 9 to 12-month-old. Oh, and there was a section at the end where you're supposed to increase after every 3 stitches, and I think I increased this to every 4 stitches for the last 2 rounds as I was getting way too much scalloping, but this might be because of the smaller hook. I do have a little bit of shop update news for you this week. My supplier for my double-sided satin has introduced 8 more satin ribbon options. Only 5 of these are available in my common 4-inch wide satin ribbon, but there are also 3 additional colors available in 1.5-inch satin. For the 5 colors of 4-inch wide double-sided satin, I already have in teal and silver, and there is also champagne, regal purple, and light coral. As this supplier tends to have a sale around Halloween, I hope to get in the additional 3 colors around the end of that sale. So hopefully I'll have them in maybe the end of next week, although it'll probably be a while before I get them added in the Etsy shop. So if you are looking for those colors, just let me know and I can always set you up a custom listing. And just in case you're interested, I do sell 1.5-inch satin ribbon, although I find the 4-inch is much more popular. I will also be able to get coral rose, leaf green, and jade. I don't know if these will eventually make it to the 4-inch satin ribbon, although I really hope, especially with the coral rose, that they do eventually get this in the 4-inch. Otherwise, there isn't a whole lot of other news for my Etsy shop. I don't have a lot of time to do the many edits that I need to do and make the many listings I need to make. And now Etsy has changed the format on the listing pages, And this makes it even more awkward and time-consuming for me to get things done, as they've made it so where I had a description with bullet points. This is all now underneath the click to see more. So I have found I've been getting a lot more conversations about details that are listed in the listing, but Etsy has decided to push these so they aren't being seen. As for life events, this week, of course, being the week leading up to Halloween, and the fact that Halloween is on a Tuesday, everyone is trying to jam in their Halloween events before or this weekend. This includes the kids' school. So on Thursday, which happens to be the day I am recording this, the boys, or my bigs, will be having their Harvest Festival parties, and we will probably be trying to do any fall-themed activities that we can. Please pardon all the background noise I am trying to record while Leo, the oldest of the twins, has woken up from nap and is eating his snack. And also, we have a cold front coming through, so there is a lot of wind noise. I'm a little sad this year, as one of our favorite Halloween events I don't think is going on anymore. We used to go to an equestrian center where they would dress up the ponies and horses and give out rides for the kids, and this year it looks like they aren't doing it anymore. We also have in the town I am in, or the metro area I am in, have a night called Beggar's Night instead of Halloween Trick or Treat Night. This happens on the night before Halloween, so it kind of feels odd to me to have all my Halloween done before the day of actual Halloween. And I actually like Halloween, as I find it fun to dress up in different outfits. You can blame this on the actress side of me. I grew up in a kind of theatrical family. Me, my sister, and my brother have all been in theater to some extent and all interned on a thing called the Showboat, which was in the town I grew up in. This is a professional theater that is done in an old showboat. The showboat is now landlocked, but it still resides on the riverfront. I'm not sure if you can even see the showboat in this photo, but the photo has been taken facing or pointing to the riverfront. Anyways, don't forget we have started our what I like to call inspirational along, which is crafting and service projects for others during the holiday season. And if you would like more information on that, feel free to stop by the Unseen Strands podcast Ravelry group